Hi friends and comrades, viewers KVS. Last episode we have discussed about the contributory negligence and also what are all the precautions we should take before giving the statement. This episode, let us discuss some related issues. Generally, what are all the frauds being committed in the post offices? Most of the frauds, SB frauds, are committed in the branch post offices. When such cases came, generally they will say what is whether you have verified the BAT, balance after transaction, DLT, date of last transaction, all these items they used to ask. And also non-furnishing of certificates, some certificates which are required to be furnished by the depositor, which would have been omitted, that they will take it as a ruse to make you under the contributory negligence. So the certificates you should be more cautious in case of illiterate depositor, illiterate in case of minors. You should check whether the required certificate has been furnished by the depositor or the messenger authorized for the purposes. That you have to be very careful for the transactions happening at branch post office. And similarly, even the non-calling of passbook for entry of interest, that is also still there. Even though the CSI manual, it is not possible as per the existing working atmosphere. However, this rule has not been omitted and this is also in force, and this is also one of the cases. And similarly, we are obtaining the passbook, any correction or deletion or something else, which are not being written back to the sub-office or depositor by the branch postmaster. Such cases are also to be brought under the contributory negligence of our officials. And similarly, saving certificate fraud also, it is very notorious. Even you know about the Raniganj fraud, Raniganj HO in Asansol division, the saving certificate. The encashed certificate have been repeatedly shown as encashed, and there was a very big problem we were facing at the time because some fraudulent officials have committed such fraud. Resultantly, the innocent officials are being caught and they have been punished, penalized very severely. That is the saving certificate also. That is one of the another item. And the third item we can say about the RD and the MPKY agents. In MPKY agents, even one agent at Chhattisgarh, they have simply obtained all the four sheets. There were difference of balances. At one day, the APM and other officers, they have been unnecessarily charge sheeted. It is happening actually. So in case of SAS agent and RD agent, MPKY, all these we have to be more cautious. And generally we should not allow them inside the office also. There is one office at Tiruvattur in Chennai. The SAS agent has been allowed to access the passbook, and she was issuing the passbook for the deposit she made. For 100 rupees, she make it as a 1 lakh rupee and something else, and finally there is a very big fraud. And many officials have been charge sheeted under Rule 14 and Rule 16, and huge recovery is going on. So we should be cautious at the time of dealing the MPKY agent and others. Transit in cash. Transit in cash also, it is very important item, whether the transit cash, whether it is adjusted or not. You would have seen recently, some 4 days before, the department has released a volume 6 part 3, in which now it has been brought under the CSI implementation. They changed the roles actually. They changed the roles of the sub-accounts branch and also how to check the transit and everything. They have mentioned in the recently released part 3 also. So that is also, we should be more careful, and that is one area. Suppose the branches or postmaster, they would have said that they have remitted the amount to another sub-office or BO something which have not been accounted for. At one stage it will become a fraud. So we should be more careful in dealing the transit. Actually, earlier in summary branch, the transit entries is the personal duty of the head postmasters. Now it is not there because of the CSI implementation, it is not there. But it is the personal duty of the postmaster to make entries of transit in the SO summary. While you are keeping more excess in the office, some burglary or some theft while transit, something taking place also. At the time when you are keeping the excess balance in the office, it will become a problem. So this is one of the cash item. These are all the items. Keeping the excess cash in the office, or theft while in transit, or not checking the transit entries properly like this, not taking care of the liabilities also, and also excess cash balance memo. Even though excess cash balance memo that is not required, that has not been deleted so far. And also the keeping the in some places, even after storing all the cash and valuables in the cash chest, they will keep the key in the office itself. Burglary, they will simply open and they will take the entire, loot the entire amount and they will go. So this is also happening in most of the post offices, and the responsibility lies on the postmaster and PA in such cases. So this is also there. Earlier the SB minus balance were there. Now after the computerization and after this, I think this problem will not arise. SB minus balance is also there. For averting the SB minus balance, we should be more careful because in many places, actually while transferring the SB balance from Sanjay Post to CSI, actually they have taken the V2 software of the SBCO and they have not tallied between the Sanjay Post and the SBCO software. Some problems are there in the balance also. Such cases, while you are giving some reply, when anyone is asking, you have to give reply very suitably because this is not a mistake of you, this is a mistake of the department by allowing to take V24 software from SBCO instead of the Sanjay Post software and sorting out the discrepancies at the time of transformation. So we have to very careful in giving the statement about the minus balance. So these are all the very important items. And I want to say some prevention is better than cure. In some areas, we have to be more careful because you know that the contributory negligence is a serious factor and we have to be more careful. Number one, charge report. Whenever you are handing over the charge report, you should mention the cash and stamps and other valuables in the charge report, and you should keep a copy every time. Whenever you are getting relieved or assumed, you should keep a copy of the charge report which contains the cash, valuables and everything. That is very important. At future stage, it will be useful for you. And similarly, the SO account. If it is manually maintained, now it is not required. If it is manually maintained, it should be made in the own handwriting of the postmaster and you should not give anybody else. And similarly, when you are weighing the cash back, you should ensure whether it is properly weighed and proper weight has been noted. And similarly, ECB memo also, whether the ECB memo is properly compiled or properly given like this. And SPM monthly report, PA 17A. You know, it should be submitted before 5th of every month. And if there is any irregularity is found in the SMR, it should be sent for verification. And similarly, the serial numbers of the ECB memo, that should be given in continuity. And if there is any break in the serial number, it should be taken a serious note of. Liabilities to be included in the ECB memo. The SPM is responsible even for the BO excesses also. Suppose in any BO, if they are keeping more excess amount, the sub-PM has to check and he should avert all these things. If the BPM is allowed to keep any excess amount at the branch post office, the SPM will also be responsible and we should not forget about it also. And at each daily account, the signature of the joint custodian is very much essential. In the daily account, what are all the documents you are sending? Everything should be noted. And if there is any difference in the closing balance of the daily account system generated, that should be properly dealt with. And whatever be the error or whatever be the wrong committed, everything should be noted in the error book of the post office. If any technical error, it should be referred to the system administrator immediately and that should be rectified. And also tallying the closing balance of the BO and manual DA in CSI SAP, that should also be done so that the IBB fraud can be averted. Cash office, they should not keep the cash more than the prescribed limit plus liabilities. Separate error book has to be maintained branchwood and that should be checked properly. Every day the postmaster should check the error book of each branches personally. The special error book, the PB not received for interest, that should also be maintained in all the post offices. Otherwise, if any fraud committed in the branch post office, by saying this rule, the contributory negligence factor will generally come. And verification of SS of BO transaction, specimen signature of transaction, that should be verified by the mail overseer. And mail overseer and IP, during their visit, they should verify at least 2 discontinued accounts and they should inquire why such a discontinued account has taken place in the concerned BO. The check realization register, that is also very much essential. The BO index register, SB 26, SB 28, MS 87A, RPLI, all the index register have to be maintained at the sub-post offices for checking the continuity of receipts issued by the branch post offices. SB 45 register to be maintained for the withdrawal which is allowed more than the prescribed limits. And these are all the main, actually off-margin memo also that should be assigned in a serial number, annual serial number, and that should be sent for verification. That verification has to be done within 10 days. If it is outstation, that should be done within 30 days. We have to check the off-margin memo also, that is also very important. Whenever a closure of the account is presented, the depositor must present personally and he should not be closed and the amount handed over to the messenger on his behalf. These are all very important. And similarly, you should not share your password, no back value for the date of transaction, and enabling and disabling of the user ID. All these things you have to be very careful. At no cost you should give your ID to one yourself. Your password is a secret one. Even if the officers at the time of inspection, if they are asking you to give your password, don't give your password. The officer should log in on their own password and they should verify only through their login only, and they should not demand you or ask you or request you to give your password. This you have to be very, very careful during all these items. So what is the role of the unionist? If the official who is really guilty or really a reason for the fraud, he should be punished. We need not go and help them. But at the same time, the innocent official should not be penalized for the fault of others. Trade union should have a vital role in guiding the innocents from the beginning of giving the prima facie statement. And effort should be taken to recover the amount from the main offender. Suppose, if the main offender is there, if the divisional administration is delaying the process of investigation, any investigation that should be completed within 3 months. As per the rule, any investigation that should be completed within 3 months. If it is not completed within 3 months, they cannot extend the inquiry further. They have to close it within 3 months. If it is connected with some crime or some police or something else, some prosecution is required, something, it can be prolonged. In all other cases, it should be completed within 3 months, and if a 100% verification is ordered, that should be completed within 3 months after the 3 months. That means within 6 months the entire process has to be completed. This is a rule. This is a rule, and charge sheet has to be issued at any cost within 3 months or at the maximum of 6 months. This is a rule. So, if the issuing of charge sheet, the divisional administration is delaying or somewhere want to save these culprits and escape him to make the innocent officials, gullible officials or scapegoat, we should not allow it. The trade union should write a letter. The main offender is possessing the property that should be confiscated. The onus of responsibility lies with the administration, and if you are not taking immediate action, responsibility will lies on you. Something you have to record in writing so that the divisional administration will expedite the process and they cannot delay it. And they cannot issue the charge sheet after issue of 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. You can make them to expedite issuing the charge sheet to the officials. This is one. And you should educate the members. Precautions, all the precautions. What are all the precautions we are discussing today? These are all the precautions. We should educate the members. These are all the precautions to be taken care of. Let them take if they are observing all these things, naturally they will be more safe. They cannot be fixed under the contributory factor. A team of comrades, a pool of comrades, that should be formed at each and every division so that they can assist the officials who are in need. That is the very need. And before conclusion, I am saying you, as per the rule dated 9/7/1959, this is very important order. The extenuating circumstances shall be given due weight. This is the order issued during 1959 that has been further reiterated on so many items. So the extenuating circumstances, suppose if a clerk working single-handedly in and managing 2 or 3 branches, the error is natural. Such error should be excused. Then they cannot be penalized under the contributory negligence. Suppose at a time there are more than 300 money orders or some 100 registered letter pooling in the counter and some mistake occurs, that should be excused. That is called the extenuating factor. Such extenuating factor to be taken as note. And similarly 30/11/1960 there is an order. In the punishment order, the disciplinary authority should discuss the entire full case and also his findings mentioning how the official is responsible before issuing such a recovery. That is very important. So they cannot simply impose recovery on you. And also another important order during 1975, 10/2/1975. The pecuniary responsibility should not be fixed for mere routine and petty lapses. For effecting recovery, contributory negligence should be such as has been the direct cause for the loss. I told you, as per Rule 11.3, if one person is directly responsible, then only the recovery can be imposed. So this order has been reiterated on 10/2/1975, and for the mere routine and petty cases, no recovery can be imposed. In FHEB Volume 1, under Appendix 4, contoned honesty errors, who acted in good faith. If an official is doing something in good faith, any error occur, that should be condoned. That is also very important, and penalty should not be such as to impair future efficiency. Very important. And also 29/11/2000, there is another order. Government official should not suffer hardship disproportionate to the mistakes they committed. That is also a very good order. And again 29/11/2006, the extenuating circumstances should be taken due weight. Another order has come. And disciplinary authority, you should give a clear finding. That is as per Rule 11, illustration number 23b. Very clear order is there. So, comrades, be cautious, be alert, and guide our comrades properly before giving statement, before giving reply to Rule 16 charge sheets or Rule 14 charge sheets, and be careful to take care of the gullible comrades who are defending the union. And with these few facts, I conclude this. Thank you, comrade. Yours, Kevin.